Oh, bruh, what the Couyons up to today?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, we got us a little review going together now.
Two Couyons.
Yeah,
Two Couyons review.
fuck yeah, we did the two yawns. But
Uh,
we got a little pick coming out of Houma, Louisiana.
I don't know if it's
So
gonna focus in. There we go.
we've done a review a long time ago of this Lee W. Sinclair pick from Indiana bourbon from Spirits of French Lick distillery. The one we had was from Bourbon Festival. I'm not sure which year. I think it was 2020 maybe. Bourbon Fest, New Orleans Bourbon Fest pick. That was 109 proof. This one's coming in at 114.3 proof.
I actually can't believe that other one was 109, and this is just 114, and this is a
Yeah.
Well, this is barrel series. It's not necessarily barrel proof. At least I don't see that on there anywhere yet.
Well,
But barrel series.
they
so
did
it's a pick.
change the. Yeah, I don't think they call it barrel proof, but they did change the labeling a little bit. It's got a little tater sticker on the back of what looks to me to be Larry Bird, and I don't know what the correlation is with that. It says the legend of French Lick, maybe the legend of Larry Bird, you know. But we've done a few out of this series with
Matty Gladden.
and what's the rye one?
We're still on.
I don't know all the people's names from, but it's all prominent figures from the state of Indiana. So
I know they have like the Wicked Witch or whatever. I tried that one at the Bourbon Festival.
oh yeah, the witchy.
Something.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a rye, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was a rye. But this one comes in at 4.5 years old. The previous one we had, I think, was just 4 years old. So, I mean, a half a year. I don't think it'll make it that big of a difference. But
The rye, I think, is a Solomon Scott one.
Solomon Scott, that's it.
Let's see.
So the witchy one you're talking about, I think it was a blend of rye and something else.
The Whiskey Witch.
The whiskey witch. That's it.
Yeah, that one is a wheat Indiana peat smoked malt oats.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't rye at all, right?
No, like I said, I think the Solomon Scott's the rye one. Then the William Dalton. That's the one
weeded.
we couldn't figure. Yeah, that one's the weeded.
Okay. So out of all the ones I've had, which I think we've had all of them pretty much, the Lee W. Sinclair was pretty much the favorite around the board.
I think it was my favorite, whatever. Just the four different grains, man. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
really stands out. The corn, wheat, oats, and barley.
So at first I thought it had rye in it, but it didn't. It's just the fourth oat. The fourth grain is oat. So it's really a wheated bourbon with some oat in it. And I mean, we had got a creamy. It's a really creaminess to it that you get. But you can get it just, I mean, off the color, typical bourbon color, nothing crazy about it. I mean, maybe a little lighter than most bourbons you would have, but it's only 4.5 years old. But
It's got good legs.
yeah, I thought both of these had a decent viscosity to it, but right off top on that nose, you get like a creaminess from it, like we were talking about. And I'm not sure we were talking about whether it be the wheat or the oat, but something's giving it like a very creamy kind of mellow feel to it, almost like a vanilla cream.
Yeah. No, I know it don't have rye in it, but I find it has like a rye on the nose.
It has, yeah, it's spices, like definitely bacon spices.
Yeah.
And I find even whiskeys that don't have rye, so drinking
Could be the wheat too a little bit, but
drinking like malt whiskeys, like single malts, you don't get as much spicy stuff to it. You get a hint of spice because I think a lot of it what we think would be rye spice sometimes just is from the wood. So I think you get some spices from the wood with this new charred oak from this bourbon. It does pick up some good bacon spices from that though.
Caramel, your vanilla,
Oh yeah.
your corn. It's not very, I don't think corn sweet per se, but
No, they like just since it's a bourbon, it's got to be 51% corn, but I bet you it's right at that 51. We don't know the mash bill on it, but it's probably right at that 51 mark. I don't think they go crazy with the amount
yeah,
of
I
corn.
couldn't imagine it being much more than that.
But I think, man, that wheat, either the wheat or the corn, is adding like almost like vanilla ice cream creaminess to it. You know what I mean?
I would imagine whatever the mash bill is, like how they have it on here, corn, wheat, oats, barley.
Mhm.
So it's probably obviously 51% corn. I'd say wheat's probably the next biggest, then
Yeah.
oats, then barley.
Right, I agree. And the barley's probably just there to fermentate it. But
So you got the corn and then the wheat, you kind of balancing it. The oats, still something different.
yeah, man, definitely vanilla cream. Not heavy on the oak, just a light oak, just enough to give it a little spice. And some bacon spices in there, like tingling in the end. You know, it's good though. I mean, it's got a good little nose to it. Let's get into
It's
this.
not overpowering. It's not crazy. It's
Yeah.
just an enjoyable nose.
Palate's on though.
It's got a nice little burn on the end. Of course, that's the first little sip, but I love how the oak is not harsh and just is really beautiful. The oak.
Yeah, it's a light oak. So that vanilla cream note that you get in the nose, that's the first thing I get because that sweetness comes out first.
Vanilla right off the front.
Yeah, but it's more like just than regular, like just vanilla. It's like a vanilla cream. It kind of lingers for a little bit, almost like vanilla ice cream, almost, or a French vanilla.
And that creaminess that lasts and goes with the oak too, like right after.
Yeah, it kind of goes into the oak and the spices. Pretty decent mouthfeel on it too. It's a viscous whiskey for 114.3 proof. It's got a silkiness to it too. It's smooth. Really creamy mouthfeel. Really good bourbon. But I like how, like, I don't know, being a Scotch guy, I love bourbons, and sometimes I want a really oaky bourbon, but sometimes I just want a little hint of oak in it. I don't need a whole lot of oak, just something to kind of, they'll call it a bourbon because, it's going to be a new charred oak, but this one's good. This one fits the
I
bill.
like how creamy the oak is on it. To me, that's the really the standout thing on this. But I really like too that you can, but the different grains on it, you can kind of tell all the different grains in it. You can kind of tell they're there, but they all really subtly well blend together.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a well put together whiskey.
It's got a lot of interesting characteristics when you drink it.
Mm-hmm. A little caramel
pepper.
on that one.
Look at that pepper.
Yeah, I can get a pepper note like towards the end, like with the rest of those spices and stuff like that. I can get a white pepper note. That's good whiskey though. I'm glad I was able to get a hold of that one. I think Cannata's did a good job with that pick. Come to think of it, this is the only bourbon I've ever had that was an Indiana bourbon, and I don't know, they don't really specify, they don't give you a whole lot of information on it. I don't know if it's like MGP bourbon, that this Indiana, I mean.
Normally they do MGP Raws.
Yeah, MGP they source a lot of rye, but they source bourbon too, like corn whiskey. And people will buy it, make their own stuff. And being from Indiana, it would make sense. But I don't know if they're doing that. I think Spirits of French Lick might be making their own thing. So I don't know if you can pick up any information on that about it, but
I'm looking real quick, but
yeah, that's the only Indiana whiskeys I've had was Spirits of French Lick.
okay, I got a little information. Surprisingly, it is more than 51% corn.
What, you got a mash bill?
So I'm just gonna go with this because I didn't read all of it yet. And I'll give it. This is the 100 proof regular. I guess 4 grain.
Yeah, mash bill should be the same.
Lee W. Sinclair is a 4 grain straight bourbon whiskey with a mash bill of 60% corn, 17% wheat, 13% oats, and 10% caramel malt. So I was right with it did progress in that order. It says it's a caramel malt instead of just,
I think we were spot on with that corn though. Most bourbons you have is like 70 plus corn, you know what I mean? So that one's 60.
It is fermented at 85 and 90 degrees for 4 days using 2 distinct yeast varieties. The first yeast pulls out the grain profile, and the second yeast pulls out fruity and nutty esters for distillation. The oats add a creamy mouthful to the profile and sweet aroma of caramel malt, which is typically used for brewing as layers of sweetened aroma over the base of the grains.
So it's saying the oats are making it creamy.
Yeah, that's where you get the creaminess and then the fruitiness. And I was thinking it's got fruitiness to it too.
There's a slight little.
I don't want to say cherry. It's not cherry. But it is fruity. I would say.
Yeah.
It does have something in there.
Maybe like a generic berry, dark berry fruit. You know. Almost like you'd get from like a sherry scotch.
Like a wild berry kind of
like that.
Yeah.
I like it though.
I'm kind of thinking like a raspberry kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Definitely a berry though, like a generic berry kind of note to it. I like it though. It's a good whiskey, and I think we hit the nail on the head when it came to like the corn though. Like I said, most bourbons are really, really higher percentage of corn, but that was like 60-something%. So
now they said they use a number 2 chard on the barrels.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they got a good bit of information online that you can pull up from it. So
now I still don't see anything about MGP,
where they source it.
Yeah. The way they're talking about it, I guess they know everything about it anyways. But
yeah, it's good though nonetheless. Whether it's MGP juice or if Spirits of French Lick's making their own stuff, man, I don't care either way. It's good.
As for aroma, they actually got notes on it too. They got caramel, honey, nutmeg working together. Some slight black tea. I can't say those 2 words, so. Palate creamy, round, lifting. It's definitely creamy. It's definitely round. I would say it's very, like you said, silky.
It's rounded off. Yeah, I got like a silky smoothness to
Caramel, vanilla.
I hate using smooth as a description of whiskey, but it doesn't fight with you.
Apple, mint, graham cracker, ginger note. I find lately with my palate and with a lot of bourbons, and I don't say it all the time because I figure it's just my palate. I feel like I get mint a lot.
Yeah. I know a lot of times that ethanol will probably carry like a mint note to it.
That's what I think. I think it's just a generic, bourbon thing.
Yeah, like that ethanol kind of burn, kind of cool it off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so whiskey Couyons score on it, I'm gonna go. It's good.
1 out of 10 out of this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I like it.
I'm gonna go 8 even. I'm gonna go with an 8.
Wow, I was really thinking. I can't get too many good high scores out of you too often, so I was thinking kind of 8, but I was thinking somewhere around 7.6, 7.8, something like that.
Yeah.
But
see, I always did quarter scores, so it'd be 7.75 or an 8. Give or take, whatever day you might have it on, it might be a 7.75 or maybe an 8.25. You know what I mean?
I can say when we tried this a little bit earlier this morning, I think I liked it a little bit more then.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just could be my palate right now, and after all that catfish we ate earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good with that. And 8.
Yeah. Damn good whiskey though. To crack the 8s, like usually it's got to be a good whiskey. And
I don't remember what we did the original W. Lee Sinclair, but I wouldn't give it an 8. I don't believe.
So at that time we were doing a 1 to 5 scale, and we gave it 3.75. I gave it 3.75 when I tried it, and man, that's up there if you're talking 5. So it should be right around an 8.
That would be just under an 8.
Yeah.
So
but
that was a little bit lower proof.
Yeah, that one's a little bit better than the first one we had. So.
And this is a barrel pick, so
yeah. Definitely good stuff though. But that's about it for the that pick of the Spirits French Lick, W. Lee Sinclair. We have some more stuff coming up. Ryan came up to Arkansas, and we'll probably do a few reviews while we're here. But that's about it. I mean, it's nice to be able to bounce notes back and forth like we used to, instead of just making our own videos and putting stuff out. But
back to the good old days of sitting back and drinking whiskey.
Hell yeah. That's it, guys. Cheers from the Whiskey Couyons. Happy holidays. And we'll see you on the next video.
See you all in the next one, which will probably be right after this. Later.